Chicago, this is not a drill. We are moments away from either making history or facing disaster at Soldier Field. Everything hangs in the balance. Let's start with the first move, our offensive line. A two-time Pro Bowl center is in the spotlight, and his job is to protect Caleb Williams. Meanwhile, the New Orleans Saints are sinking financially, and we have a coach who can unlock a trade deal to bring him in. But time is running out. A third-round trade offer is on the table, and if we don't act fast, it could vanish. In the second round, Ben Johnson is raiding the Lions to steal a versatile Sun funnel playmaker, a move that could change our offense. But what if we fail? Will the Bears become the joke of the NFC North? And let's not forget defense. A defensive tackle from Wagner College has been given a $3 million tender, but it's all we can offer. If another team outbids us, we walk away empty-handed. Bears fans, today is the day we decide. Are we hunters or prey? Subscribe now, join the debate in the comments, and don't miss the real story behind the headlines. Now let me ask you a tough question. How much longer do we have to watch our quarterbacks get crushed because of a weak center? Caleb Williams deserves protection. But let's be honest, names like Sam Mustipher, Lucas Patrick, and Coleman Shelton have only given us nightmares, not solutions. It's time to break the cycle. Imagine this instead. A two-time Pro Bowler snapping the ball. Erik McCoy. That's right, the Saints center. And here's the best part. New Orleans is in salary cap trouble, drowning in $39 million of debt. They need to make moves. And according to ESPN's Catherine Terrell, McCoy is a prime candidate for restructuring or a trade. And guess what? We have an inside connection. Our new offensive line coach, Dan Ruchar, worked with McCoy in his early years. If anyone can bring him to Chicago, it's him. Let's talk numbers. Erik McCoy has started 81 games out of 100. Are we really going to pretend he's not a hidden superstar? Now consider this. Drew G-Man is on the market with a price tag of $13 to $14 million per year. Meanwhile, McCoy makes just $12 million. That's a steal for a player of his caliber. But what about the draft cost? After already trading a fourth-rounder for Thuney and a sixth for Jackson, does giving up a third-round pick for McCoy feel too expensive? I say it's a bargain. Here's why. In 2024, McCoy played only 7 games, but still had a PFF rating of 94.2, the highest among all centers. Let that sink in. He's a machine. With him on the line, Caleb Williams would finally have a wall of protection, and DeAndre Swift would be running through open lanes like a freeway. But let's be fair. There are risks. McCoy is coming off an injury-shortened season. Is he fully healthy? And if the Saints demand more than a third-round pick, is he still worth it? I say yes, because this isn't just a quick fix. It's a statement. If the Bears want to be contenders, they need to act like it. Here's my final take. If Ryan Poles pulls off this trade, the Bears will be the first team in NFL history to acquire 3 interior offensive line starters through trades. Sounds crazy? Maybe. But you know what's even crazier? Keeping a weak center while our quarterback keeps getting buried in the dirt. Now it's your turn, Bears Nation. Do you support trading a third-round pick for Erik McCoy, or would you rather pay more for Dalman? And let's not forget the other big move in play. Ben Johnson is making waves. This guy isn't just reimagining our offense, he's raiding his former team, the Detroit Lions, to make the Bears stronger. Yes, you heard that right. According to journalist Jared Ramsey, the Bears could steal 2 key veterans from Detroit in free agency, Levi Onwuzurike and Dan Skipper. But here's the big question. Is this a brilliant strategy or a ticking time bomb? Let's talk about it. Let's break it down. First up, Levi Onwuzurike. This is a name that could make quarterbacks across the division nervous. At 27 years old, he played 695 snaps in 2024, splitting time between defensive tackle and edge. But here's what makes him special. Brutal versatility. With a PFF rating of 70.2 and an estimated price tag of $8 million per year, could he be the missing piece to add both depth and experience to our defensive line? I think so. But that's not all. He brings insider knowledge from the Lions. He knows their playbook, their weaknesses, their habits, and in a division where every small detail matters, Onwuzurike could be the ultimate weapon to take down Detroit. But let's be real, is he actually a game changer or just an average player disguised as versatile? Last season, he only recorded 1.5 sacks. Is that enough to justify the investment? That's where the debate begins. Next, let's talk about Dan Skipper. This 6'10" tackle isn't just a giant on the field. He's a fan favorite. Under Ben Johnson's play calling, he even caught a touchdown. Imagine the Bears running those trick plays with Skipper here in Chicago. But let's not get ahead of ourselves. His primary role, a backup behind Braxton Jones and Darnell Wright. So, is Skipper the answer to our offensive line depth issues, or is he just a role player who shines in specific moments? Here's what I think. After adding Jonah Jackson and Joe Thuney, bringing in Skipper would be a masterstroke to protect Caleb Williams. But there's a risk. Paying for liability in the NFL is a luxury we cannot afford. And now, the real question. Is Ben Johnson using his inside knowledge of the Lions to build an unstoppable army, or is he overvaluing players who only thrived in his system? Let's not forget, Johnson already convinced Ryan Poles to bring in Jonah Jackson, and that move worked. Then came Thuney, another gem. So, is he making the Bears a powerhouse, or are we taking unnecessary risks? Let's talk about it. But if our strategy is to raid Detroit, aren't we risking the Lions striking back when we least expect it? Here's my final take. This is psychological warfare. Stealing Onwuzurike and Skipper doesn't just strengthen the Bears, it weakens a direct rival. Ben Johnson isn't here to make friends. He's here to win. And if that means taking everything from Detroit, even their drinking water, so be it. But what do you think? Let's throw the question to the Tribune. If you were Ryan Poles, would you prioritize signing Onwuzurike for his versatility and insider knowledge of the Lions, or would you invest in a more explosive player for the defensive line? And speaking of moves, what's going on with Chris Williams? The Bears gave him a restricted free agent tender worth $3.25 million. But is that enough? Or are they settling instead of upgrading? Let's break it down. Chris Williams, an undrafted free agent from Wagner College, has bounced around the league like a pinball. Colts, Chiefs, Browns. Then in 2024, the Bears traded a 7th-round pick for him, and now they're handing him millions. Does he deserve that kind of trust after a mediocre season? Or is this just another comfortable move by the front office? Look, Williams played all 17 games in 2024, racking up 23 tackles and 3 sacks. Decent? Yes. Game-changing? Let's be real. He's a rotational player, not the disruptive force we need. If you think this solves our defensive line issues, you're fooling yourself. The Bears need to be aggressive in free agency or the draft. Now, is $3.25 million crazy for a versatile DT? It's actually a reasonable price. But is it the answer? Absolutely not. This move reeks of complacency. Where is the investment in a true leader to support Montez Sweat? Or are we about to rely on projects yet again? It's time for Chicago to make a real move. If another team offers more for Chris Williams, the Bears have the right to match. But let's be honest, who's really paying more? I doubt it. This is a low-risk move, but also a low-reward one. We need game changers, not temporary fixes. So, Bears fans, I challenge you. Do you support this move, or do you demand more aggression from the front office when it comes to building this defense? Now, Bears Nation, it's time to raise your voice. First, the offensive line. Do you support a trade for Eric McCoy, giving up a 3rd-round pick to solidify the center position? Or would you rather spend more in free agency to ensure Caleb Williams gets top-tier protection? Drop your thoughts in the comments. Second, the defense. Imagine you're Ryan Poles. Would you sign Onwuzurike, banking on his versatility and Lions intel? Or would you push for a more explosive and impactful player, even if it means spending more resources? Third, the under-the-radar moves. Is Chris Williams signing a smart strategic move to strengthen the defense, or just a temporary patch? Do the Bears need to be more aggressive in the next moves, or do you trust the current plan? This is your team, your Bears family. Leave your responses in the comments, and let's get this debate going. Don't forget to subscribe for exclusive analysis, hot rumors, and passionate debates. Turn on notifications, share this with a fellow Bears fan, and I'll see you in the next edition.